Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole. If you enjoy beauty, fragrance, and makeup in general, you are definitely in the right place. Today's video, I am so excited, you guys. I finally was able to get my hands on the brand new foundation from KVD. So this is called the new Full Coverage Good Apple Serum Foundation. Now I've also been using the original KVD Good Apple Foundation Balm, so I will definitely let you know what some of the differences or similarities are. I also came across a few other goodies that I will be testing out in today's video. Now as you can probably tell, I have a fair to light cool undertone, so anytime I come across cool tone makeup, especially in the store that I don't have to order online, I always get super excited. So one of which is a new blush from Too Faced. These are called the Cloud Crush blushes. Also, e.l.f. has their new Luminous Putty Bronzer formula, and also a new lipstick formula from Too Faced, and this is from the Cocoa Bold line. Now my skin is pretty temperamental to say the least. I'm in my mid-30s and I have oily, dehydrated, and acne-prone skin, so definitely have a lot of skin concerns. So today is going to be a great day to test out this new foundation. If you guys are excited to get started and enjoy the video while you're watching, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and let's get started right now. Now, when the original KVD Good Apple Foundation Balm was released, I feel like it was all the rage. It was all over TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. But it did seem like there is quite a division right down the middle. People either absolutely love this foundation or they absolutely despised it. Now, I was actually one of the people that really enjoyed this foundation. I still do to this day. So as I mentioned, I have oily and dehydrated skin that's also acne prone. So I found the original balm foundation just sat beautifully on my skin. It was hydrating, so it wasn't necessarily the most long-lasting foundation, but it was enough that I could deal with blotting throughout the day, and I really did like how my skin looked at the end of the day. So part of the reason I was so excited to test out this new serum foundation, other than it just being from the Good Apple line, it is because it claims to be transfer-proof, humidity resistant, and also non-comedogenic. So yes, this foundation does have quite a few claims. Now the one thing I do want to mention before I forget, if you have not tested out either of these Good Apple foundations, the one thing I do find about the shade range, while yes, it's great they do have 40 shades, I do find they run pretty light. So I am typically on the fair end of the spectrum when it comes to shades, sometimes fair to light, but I usually am never on the light side. But as I just mentioned, light 010 is a dead-on match for any of my shade twinsies out there. It might just be a hair too deep in the dead of winter, but overall it is a great match. So that is the shade I picked up in the new one, light 010. Now both of these foundations retail for about $42 US. Now in the new serum foundation, you do get 1.01 fluid ounces, whereas in the original balm, you get 10 grams or 0.35 ounces. However, I was expecting that. Typically with serum foundations, you do need a bit more product. I do find with the balm, it is definitely full coverage, so I really only needed a tiny bit of product, so that's probably why there's a difference. Now, I will be swatching the new serum foundation for you guys. I'm not going to be re-swatching the foundation balm just because I already have a review up on my channel. I have so many other foundations open right now, so I don't want it to go bad before I have a chance to use up all these foundations. Hope you guys understand, but you can always check out that video after this one. So here is what the packaging looks like. And once you remove the cap, you will see there is a pump applicator. I'm so excited that there is actually a pump on this foundation. Most serum foundations that I've used over the years, usually they come in one of those dropper applicators, and I just end up making a mess. They are not travel friendly. So kudos for KVD to actually putting a pump on the serum foundation. So here is the shade Light 010 swatched out. Now I will say it does appear to have just a little bit more yellow than I typically like with foundations, but we'll have to test it out to see if it's a good match. All right, let's get into application. I'm going to pump out just a little bit here to get started. Once again, so excited to finally have a pump. Now I am going to be using a damp sponge. Now I do understand that most people probably do use a brush when it comes to especially serum foundations, but with my dehydrated skin, I just do prefer a damp sponge, so that's what I'll be using for today's video. Now this is supposed to be full coverage, so I am going to start off with just a little bit. We can always build up more foundation. So let's just do the forehead first, since this is the area that my bangs typically cover. So don't usually get a lot of breakouts in this area either. So let me get this on first, and then we will move on to the rest of the skin. Oh yeah, that definitely has quite a bit of coverage. I barely dip my sponge in the foundation, and it is definitely doing some pretty great covering already. All right, I know I always look so silly when I have my bangs pushed back like this, but I did want to show you what the forehead is looking like so far. I feel like it looks very nice and natural on the skin, and it also did a great job at covering surface redness. All right, something I'm already noticing is the little bit of foundation I had pumped out on the back of my hand. It is almost all the way dry. So I would definitely recommend doing one section of the face at a time. So I am going to have to pump out a little bit more. This time I'm going to do even less, since I know it dries down much quicker. It's just a little drop. All right, let's get started with the left half of the skin. So I feel like I'm going to have to work pretty quickly with this one. And keep in mind, I don't put gobs of foundation on to get started. I just do a little bit. So I would imagine you would get much more full coverage, of course, if you were to pick up more product, but I like to build up my foundations instead of going in with too much. All right, well, that did blend in pretty quickly. Wow. Can you tell the difference between the redness as I mentioned a moment ago? So what do you think? One very light layer and nothing on this side. All right, let's do the right half next. So once again, just one pump. One little dot, I should say. So yeah, you have to work so quickly with this foundation, you guys. It is drying down almost like cement or glue so quickly. So I definitely have to pounce pretty quickly. I always like to take the tip of the sponge right in the nose crease. But it does blend out quickly at the same time. So I don't have to do a lot of dabbing like I usually do. All right, so what do you think? One very light layer. All right, so next, because I use such a small amount of product when I do my initial layer of foundation, what I almost always do next is put a bit more on the hand and then just go over any areas that I have redness or any breakouts. I do have quite a few right now around my chin, so I am going to apply just a little bit to those areas next. So the other thing I am noticing, as I mentioned a moment ago, you guys, this foundation, it seriously dries down like cement. Like, take a look at my hand. Yes, there is still one little tiny dot where it's wet, but everywhere else, it is completely dry. So this foundation is probably going to be one of those that once you apply it, it does not budge. So I do think it looks quite nice around the perimeter of the skin and also on the cheeks, and it is definitely full coverage, but I'm just not loving how it's sitting on the areas that I have dry patches. So if you have dry skin, I don't know if this is going to be a great foundation for you, but let's wait and see and do the wear test. So next I'm going to apply just a little bit of concealer. This is the KVD Good Apple Concealer. This is another great concealer. I really do enjoy it. Now this sucker is also very full coverage, but you know how with like Tarte Shape Tape or even the Ultra Creamy, which happens to be one of my favorites, it's full coverage, but the consistency is very thick. With this concealer, the consistency is extremely thin. It's very fluid. So this is great for needing a lot of coverage, but using very minimal product. And the shade I use is shade 109, in case you were wondering. So let me just blend this concealer out, and I'll be right back. So this blends out very quickly, just like this new foundation, but I don't find it emphasizes any of my dry patches, especially under my eyes where I often get them. So yeah, I really like this concealer. Have you guys used this before? All right, so just one thing I wanted to mention, I was really careful about not taking the concealer down too far. I just applied it directly under the eyes. So this is what the base is looking like so far with the concealer and foundation. All right, next let's move on to the new e.l.f. Luminous Putty Bronzers. And the shade I picked up is called Vacay Mood. So here is a swatch of Vacay Mood. All right, this makes me really excited just from taking a look at the swatch. It doesn't look like it's going to be too gray. If it was great, I could use that as a contour, but I already have the regular matte putty bronzers in the cool tone shade that I can use as contour. So I actually think for this one, I'm going to apply it more as a traditional bronzer as opposed to contour. Going in with the e.l.f. Putty Applicator Brush. All right, let's swirl it around and see how this goes. So I'm already smiling because this is almost the perfect bronzer shade for me. I know so many people probably look at that in the pan and think, oh my gosh, that's gray. But what's interesting about these is on the skin, they don't translate super gray. Like on me, I feel like it still has a nice brown tone to it. So yeah, I really like that. I was worried that there would be glitter particles that would be really noticeable, but it just gives a nice sheen to the skin. All right, you could certainly build these shades up, but just going for a more natural look today. So yeah, really like the shade called Vacay Mood. All right, I just went ahead and added some mascara to my upper lashes. Haven't done anything else. But yeah, you guys, I really like this formula for the new Luminous Putty Bronzers. I think they look nice and natural, nice and radiant on the skin. Love the color. So yeah, so far, these are great. So next, let's move on to the product I'm probably most excited for, other than the foundation, of course. So this is the new blushes from Too Faced from the Cloud Crush collection. You guys, take a look at this beautiful bubblegum cool tone pink shade. I am beyond excited to test this out because I do find that when they actually release cool tone blushes, they are usually way too deep for my skin tone. So this looks like it is going to be a perfect shade. All right, so let's try this out next. All right, so I just swatched Candy Clouds out for you guys. Now it's probably going to be a bit difficult to see on camera, but you can get an idea. Now that actually excites me because usually when I swatch blushes and use such a heavy swatch, it's typically way too bright or too deep for my skin tone. So let's get into application. All right, got my Sonia G brush. Ooh, okay. So there is a lot of kick up in the pan, so just be careful, going easy. So keep in mind, I do like to build up my product. This is perfect. It is exactly the blush shade I have always hoped for. So ColourPop actually had a shade like this a while ago, but unfortunately it was limited edition. So I'm going to have to pick up a backup of these just because, again, these shades are pretty rare. Oh, it's perfect. And you can really go in and build it up. Kind of gives a nice lightening effect to the skin as well. Beautiful. All right, I am so excited. And you know, it really gives a nice brightening effect to the cheeks, but I just went in with a little bit too much product on this side. So I feel like this is going to be a great versatile blush for our type of skin tones, because if you just want a nice flush of color, you can do that, but they also do build up. So yeah, I really like the formula so far. Love the color. All right, so that blush just absolutely made my day. I'm so excited. All right, next let's go ahead and test out these Cocoa Bold lipsticks. And the shade I picked up is called Chocolate Strawberry. Now you guys, this is another thing I often run into. Finding the perfect cool toned lip shade is pretty difficult. So let me swatch this out so you can see what it looks like on the skin. There you go. So it does have a little bit of a peach tone to it, which I don't mind because I don't want to apply like a shade like this to my lips. All right, so my lips are hella dry, you guys. It does not matter how much chapstick, lip treatments, lip scrubs, you name it, I use it. My lips are just always dry in the winter. So let's apply this and see. Oh my gosh, there is a lot of pigment to these. Wow. So ignore my super dry lips. I apologize, you guys. Wait. This smells good. It smells like candy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so these must be scented. All right, you guys, yes, another hit. Again, I apologize. Try and look past my dry lips if you can. This is a wonderful, nice, nude, kind of natural lip shade. It is exactly what I hope for, because oftentimes cool tone lipsticks, they kind of give Barbie vibes, if you get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to look like that one lady from There's Something About Mary, if you're catching my drift. So yeah, love chocolate strawberry. And something else I didn't realize, these are actually a magnetized cap, so that is always nice. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple of final tweaks, add some highlighter, and I think that is about it. So I will see you guys at the end of the day, or the end of the night, I shall say, and we will take a look at how my skin is looking then. As of right now, you guys, I'm not a fan. My oils are starting to come through. Now, even though that's happening, I still look just as dry in those areas, so I don't have high hopes, but we'll wait and see. So I will see you guys at the end of the day. All right, you guys, so listen, it has only been about 2 hours since I last checked in with you. I did eat, so my lipstick did wear off, but we need to talk about this foundation. So keep in mind, it's only been a couple of hours. Again, ignore my dry lips, I'm sorry. Look at my chin. Can you guys see like those lines? Like here? Like I don't even have a dry patch there. So I don't know why it's creating that line. And look right here. But yet I'm oily here. Yeah, this foundation, you guys, this is just a total pass. So I can already tell you, I definitely do not have to wait another 6 or 8 hours. This foundation just does not work on my skin. It makes me oily in certain places, but the biggest thing, it just emphasizes every single line, dry patch. Now I will say it did hold up pretty well. Granted, it's only been a few hours. You know, I did forget to check the transfer proof, so let me grab a napkin. Hold on, it might make a noise here. Sorry. All right, let's see if this is really transfer proof. All right, there's nothing on there. All right, so at least that is one plus. It does appear to be transfer proof. You know, I'm pretty surprised because I am oily. But yeah, so it did at least live up to the claims of being transfer proof. All right, well, you don't know until you test it out, so I'm definitely going to be sticking with one of my holy grail foundations, the original Good Apple Balm. So definitely let us all know down below, have you tested out this new serum foundation? If you did, what kind of skin do you have? What was your experience? Let us know all of your thoughts down below. Now, as far as the other products go, the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Bronzer, love that. I feel like it's holding up pretty well so far. And this blush, you guys, I just cannot say enough good things. Not only is the shade just perfect for my fair to light cool undertone, but I do seem to really like how it's looking on the skin so far. I haven't lost any color. I think it still looks great. So this blush is awesome. Now this lipstick, you guys, this is actually a really interesting formula. So it's not hydrating and it's not matte. It's almost like right in the middle. So I kind of appreciate having a new formula to look forward to. So on days where I don't want to wear just a gloss and I don't want to dry my lips out since they're already so dry, I really do like this formula. But the shade Chocolate Strawberry, yeah, good things to say about this one too. So yeah, overall, I just cannot recommend that new KVD Serum Foundation. I do think it looks pretty bad on my skin, not from far away, but once you get close, that is unfortunate. I did have high hopes for it, but it's okay. There are a lot of other good foundations out there. I really hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.